was a medical marijuana patient. And what we didn't realize is this guy had cancer. He had really bad cancer. And when he was arrested with me, in about 90 days, he was so sick that they had to throw him out. So they gave him a sweetheart deal. They gave him like 120 days, which meant that he'd already done 90 days, so he'd done his 120 days. And he needed to stop to pee. It's that simple. And he picked the place and then got pulled over. Right immediately when we stopped. And that's the reason that, you know, I've had this whole thing where I've been gone for a year. I was in jail for 9 months, a little bit more than 9 months, and then I had a heart attack because of milk. Turns out I'm lactose intolerant, and if you drink the 1% milk, it has a lot of cholesterol for some reason. For milk that is, you know, you'd think, well, the really thick natural milk is going to have the most cholesterol. No, this 1%, which is the stuff they're giving us every morning, because in jail they get you up at 5 o'clock so they can put you back to sleep after they give you breakfast. And I'm the kind of guy who needs melatonin to go back to sleep. So now I'm prescribed melatonin. But they would not give me my melatonin when I was in jail. They thought that it was a trick. And anyway, I'm supposed to do the milk. Well, the milk was going straight to the plaque. And the plaque got to be so bad that the day they were going to transfer me to prison, because we tried to get, you know, like a more reasonable amount of time, like about 9 months, and they wouldn't go for it. They gave me a bunch of time. And they're transferring me. And every morning, you see, I'd do the milk, and I would, like, have this asthma attack, which was really a heart attack. And I would lay on my side, and I would breathe, and eventually I would get enough oxygen in. Well, this morning, they got me up in the middle of the asthma attack, and they said, you got to go to prison. So I went out to the front, the holding cell, and I collapsed in the holding cell. And the person who had to give me CPR was the same guy who busted me in this Quran. It was a Quran dispute. I had the Quran sent to me. And the reason I had the Quran sent to me is I'm working with some people of Islamic backgrounds on ibogaine. And this guy Anwar G was my buddy, and we were doing some stuff. I kind of thought, you know, I never looked at that before. I'm going to figure out what makes these people tick. And I did. I ended up reading 2/3 of the Quran in the whole. And I got busted for food. They can't word food. So I got busted, and I was reading the Quran. Well, they had a guy who, well, see, you can only read the Bible. You can read the Bible, or you can read the Quran. First, I read the Bible. You know, I read a lot of Bible. You know, and then I ended up reading the Quran, and I found out that basically this guy is like a 6th century churchman. You know, it's very much like Christians at the time. A lot of the same concerns. A lot of hellfire. People are going to hell right and left. But you see, the problem was they had a hellfire type preacher in this jail, and he was the one who was stealing the Qurans. And they wouldn't admit that it was their volunteer pastor coming in for free to minister to the needs of this captive audience. And he was the only guy who could steal it, because, you know, nobody can take anything out of the jail. And they still think that some prisoners are stealing the Quran. It's the pastor, because he really believes that the Quran is dictated to Muhammad by Satan incarnate, not by Gabriel, right? You know, it's the wrong angel, right? So I ended up getting busted because I was like going to complain about this whole thing. I figured it out. I was going to blow the whistle, and they threw me into the hole so that I couldn't make phone calls one day. You know, they just made up an infraction, and I was all of a sudden in the hole. And so the same guy that threw me in the hole that morning is now giving me CPR. And they have to move me. They can't like send me to the prison anymore, because if I go to prison, straight to prison, I'll die. And I got to go to the hospital. It's the only way they can keep me alive. They're having revived me. And the hospital can't do anything. They have to send me up to the other hospital in Madison. So within a day, I'm in Madison. I'm no longer even in the county. And so you got to understand, this county is a really bad power structure. Really reactionary sheriff. Horrible district attorney who just gives the maximum sentence that he can get. And this guy named Judge Bill Dyke, who ran as a vice presidential candidate with Lester Maddox in 1972. Right? Old axe-handle Bill Dyke. Blames the Yippies for him losing his job as mayor of Madison. And there I am, an early Yippie. You know, my name was brooded about in the final little period of his job as mayor of Madison, which was the highest elected official he ever had. After that, all I could do is be the mayor of, or not the mayor, the judge of this county, which is where I was. Made the mistake of stopping. I said, Iowa County. Why? Don't stop Iowa County. Anyway, I woke up in the hospital, and there was a Via, my daughter, and there was a deputy. They've had to now send a deputy up to sit with me 24 hours a day. And it's really fucking up their jail, because they don't have enough people. They're having to play hopscotch with the personnel to try to cover the jail and send this extra person up to Madison. And that was the reason I got out. Was that simple? Within 5 days of it being inconvenient for them, they gave me appeal bond, which they wouldn't do for 9 months. They wouldn't refuse, kept refusing to do it. And I've been on an appeal bond ever since. And we thought, after, I died, they're going to, get rid of the rest of the sentence. Because, basically, if I go back in there, I have a chance that I will die.